Hey there, you're listening to the Oh Crap Potty Training podcast, and I'm your host, Jamie Glowacki. I am the author of Oh Crap Potty Training and Oh Crap, I Have a Toddler. All right, today we're going to dive into the 4 big reasons why you want to potty train before the age of 3. We have a real huge amount of people who are waiting till 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5 years old to potty train. And it gets very, very difficult. Wearing a diaper is a habit, and the longer a habit goes on, the harder it is to break. But there are some real reasons why you want to potty train before the age of 3. And don't worry, if you have already waited and your child's older than that, we'll tell you what to do at the end. So don't stress, but this is for you if your child is under 3 and you're unsure if your child is ready or if you are able to do this before the age of 3. The number one reason is there is a psychological process called individuation, and this typically happens around the age of 3. It also happens again around the age of 13, 12, 13, 14, somewhere around there. It is the process by which your child separates from you. At the younger age, this psychological process means your child figures out they are not one with you. Up until this point, your child is very enmeshed with you and they think you're one. They think when they bonk their head, you feel the pain. They are that close to you. Then during this psychological process, they figure out, wait a minute, I'm my own person. I can say no. I can decide what I want to do with my own body. This is why we call them three-nagers. That's where that phrase came, right? Because again, this process happens again as a teenager. It's different though, because that process of individuation means they're learning to become adults and they will separate from you to be on their own and have their own lives. So that's why we call it three-nager. People think it's a derogatory term. I think it's an excellent term. It describes exactly what's going on. When your child hits this point, it is the age of no. It is the age of negotiation. It is the age of I'll do it myself. It is a wonderful, natural part of their developing personality. I call it blossoming behavior. It is awesome and developmentally appropriate. However, when you put pee and poop on top of that process, it can be a disaster. Children start withholding, sometimes on purpose, sometimes not. Sometimes they are aggressive about potty training. They want to do what they want to do with their own body. So we want to hit the process of potty training before this happens, because you don't want power struggles over something with which your child actually holds the power. This is the only thing you can only control certain things with your kids. You cannot control their bodily functions. You cannot control what they eat, and you cannot control what comes out of their mouths. You just can't. So we don't want to layer that on top of this psychological process, because it ends poorly. It ends with a lot of power struggles. And I know for some people, they say, no, I waited till my kid was 3.5 and it was effortless. Maybe so, but that is not the norm. Okay. The next big thing that you want to hit, the next big reason why you want to hit potty training before 3 is deadlines. Deadlines will start looming. Preschools often demand fully potty trained kids. Camps, those kinds of things in the summer. Camps are going to demand full-time potty training. Certainly, if your preschool doesn't demand full-time, fully potty trained, the next stage will. I have people, like I've said, delaying kindergarten. There's going to be a stage of school that you will have to potty train your child, and you will be pressured because now this deadline is looming. And so you don't want to back yourself into any sort of deadlines, any sort of like, we've got 2 weeks till summer camp, or they can't move up in the next room unless they're potty trained. I had a client whose child was 4 and he was being left behind with the 2-year-olds because he wasn't potty trained. Okay. Don't do that to your child. They need to keep moving up. They need to be doing these other adventures in the summer. They need to go to the next classroom, whatever that looks like, whatever the deadline is. They really need that for their development and their growth. So don't stymie them because they're not potty trained. And again, once you back yourself into these deadlines, the pressure becomes enormous and your child will resist. That kind of pressure is the very thing that makes potty training just implode. It's awful. The next big reason is if you have waited until your child is 3.5 or 4, what typically happens is you are very entrenched in child-led, which I think is a wonderful thought. And when people say child-led, what we really mean is child interest-led, right? Not that we let the child lead everything about their lives. Guys, they have no prefrontal cortex yet. They have no long-term judgment. They have no decision-making skills. So they have very few skills. Very few skills. They've been on the planet like 1,500 days. So we don't want the child to be in charge. And so this sort of thing that happens, I call it, it's like a metaphorical following the child around all the time. And it's really going with the child's whims. Oh, okay. You want this? Okay. And it tends to look a little panicky. And it tends to look a little frazzled because we can't have somebody with no skills and a limited brain development in charge. And so if you've waited this long, a lot of times what I see is that it's because you are following the child too much. But psychologically, that's unsafe. We need to be the anchor point as the parents, not in an authoritative way, not in a like bossy, you do what I tell you or you'll be punished, not like that, but in a very firm, authoritative way, firm, loving, but having boundaries. No, we're doing this. And a lot of times what will happen is you have attempted potty training, the child kicks up some dirt or some resistance and you're like, okay, I'm not going to push. Okay. And you think you're following the child, but instead what you're creating is a psychological unsafety because then the child's now in control and they know that and they don't feel comfortable there. So this is all behind the scenes in the psyche. This isn't like the child is aware of this and like, oh, now I'm in control and I don't feel comfortable. And so you're going to see other escalating behaviors and it gets really funky. So it's not, what am I trying to say here? I correlate late potty training with this sort of parental outlook, and it just doesn't bode well. So you really need to attack things with, not attack, that's so aggressive, but you need to approach things. You need to approach things with these firm, loving boundaries that say, I got you. I'm in control. Yes, this is hard. I can see this is very hard for you and you can do hard things and we're going to do this together. That's how you would approach it. Not, okay. You're not comfortable? Okay, we'll do something else. That's typically what I see. So that's a reason why you want to do this before 3, because if you're waiting, it lets me know that that's kind of the mindset you're in. And then the fourth big reason is stages of play. So there are some documented stages of play, and I'll run through them. The first is occupied, right? And that is birth to 3 months. The next is solitary play, and that is around 2 years. 3 months to 2 years. Then we have onlooker play, and that's around 2 years, where they're looking, they might have questions, but they're not taking part. Then there's parallel play, and that's from 2.5 to 3 years. And that's when kids play side by side. They're not interacting. They're not building together. They're not making plans together. They're just playing side by side. Then we have associative play, where kids start to help each other and they start to have a common goal. They start to work together. They start to share things and maybe play the same game. And that is ages 3 to 4. And then we have cooperative play, where there's maybe one goal, everybody's working towards it. And that is around 3.5 to 4. So what you see is in that 3 to 4 range is when we have the associative play and the cooperative play. If you think about it, parallel play, right? If we go back to parallel play, which is around 2 years old, 2.5, two people playing side by side, it'd be developmentally appropriate to have poop and pee in your pants, right? Because you're not communicating with the other kid, right? You're not playing with them. So it's okay. When we get into associative play and cooperative play, this is when we're working together. So like if I'm sitting here and I'm on a computer, you guys are wherever you're at, and I pooped my pants right now, I would feel embarrassment, right? Even though you can't see me, you can't smell me, because we're in a cooperative thing. I'm talking to you, you're listening to me, even though it's an extended circumstance. When we get into those social situations, socially, this is wrong. You shouldn't be pooping and peeing in a diaper or your pants. Obviously we don't want the pooping in their pants, but if they're in a diaper and just letting their excrement go and not going to a designated place, this is out of social order. This is out of like the social hierarchy that needs to happen for developmental growth. Okay. And when we skip that, then everything kind of goes haywire. And so again, I have 5-year-olds whose parents say they're not capable of potty training, but they're starting to learn how to read. That's tipping the balance here of development. So if we skip over the potty training part, then the kid's like, oh, we're not doing that. And it becomes immeasurably harder. So I really encourage you, again, if your child is under 3, please do this before 3. Now, if you have waited and you just, whatever, I really know you thought you were doing the right thing. I'm going to wait till she's ready. I'm not going to push him. I understand where all these thoughts come from, but it's really time. And I mean that I'm not trying to shame, guilt, or blame you. I understand it's in our cultural zeitgeist right now to wait that long, but it really upsets the whole developmental process of early childhood. Okay. And so I would just jump on it without any shame, blame, guilt, anything like that. Jump on it and have firm, loving boundaries. And again, you will approach it no matter how hard it is. Create time for yourself so that you have enough time, right? That's the number one thing you need when you're potty training, doesn't matter what age. So maybe it's a holiday weekend, maybe it's over Christmas break, whenever you can. I would say if you can get 5 to 7 days, that's ideal. And you want to approach this just like I said earlier. Yes, I can see you don't like this. Yes, I can see this is hard for you. And I know you can do hard things. I have faith in you. We can do it. And I'm right here to help you. And that's how you approach it. Anytime any kid over 3 is more than ready to be potty trained. I can say that across the board. I can say that even with neurodivergent kids. Yeah, they're going to need certain concessions, but they are more than capable of being potty trained. It's about you and showing up with those firm, loving boundaries and having a little bit of that distress tolerance that we talk a lot about on this podcast. And it's about knowing, what do I want to say here? It's these firm, loving boundaries. And if you know that you are a weak link, right? Like if you know you can't do that, maybe your spouse takes the lead. Maybe you get some help. We have consultants on my website that you can hire that can help you work through that. But you have to have that boundary and be able to say, yes, we want to validate the child's emotion. We want to validate the process they're going through. We want to validate that this has been a habit for a long time, that they're very entrenched in and very tied to. Yes, I can see this change is hard for you. And I know you can do it. Because when we say something else, when we say, you can't do it, we're undermining them. We're undermining their capability. Yeah. And that's not good for them either. To have this, like, whenever something gets hard, we cave because you're too delicate. You can't handle it. That's not what we want to do. We want to start building this like resilience to life, even in our young kids, right? Which is, yes, we can do difficult things. The other thing that I see often happen is parents wait till 3.5, 4, because they've experienced some difficulties, probably along the lines of pee withholding or poop withholding. And so definitely get help. I now have my pee solutions course. For a long time, all I had was pooping solutions, and I finally got the pee solutions down. And we also have a pee and poop group And that's our online community where like-minded parents have gathered. It's not on social media. It's a group that functions much like a Facebook group, but it's not Facebook. And so you could join those too, because you need some help to get through those issues if your child is pee or poop withholding. And I know a lot of parents have waited. They started potty training maybe under 3, and then their child withheld pee or withheld poop. And then all of a sudden they were like, nope, we're not doing this. And they're waiting, but I don't typically see those issues resolve. And so waiting doesn't really help. So I encourage you to get help with those, because that is one of the factors that parents wait a long time. And again, if you have, I see a myriad of things happen. I see parents just not know because, again, the cultural zeitgeist is like, oh, it's okay. Wait till they're ready. And you almost don't give it any thought until it's a little late in the game. But I also see so many people who start a little early, struggle, and then say, nope, forget it. I'm waiting till they're ready. But again, what does that look like? And if you're waiting till they're ready, you've missed it, because at 3.5, they were more than ready and capable of potty training at 3. So please do yourself a huge favor. And again, this isn't born out of any judgment. I'm trying to, part of my job is seeing trends out in the world and seeing what really works. If waiting till they're ready worked, believe me, I would be more than happy to be out of a job. I really would. If that were the solution, I'd be like, everybody forget it. Everybody just wait till they're ready. But it doesn't work. It usually leads to many more power struggles and more difficulties. So I beg of you to heed my advice. It comes out of love, I promise. It's not, I have no investment in when your child potty trains. I just want to make it easier in the long run for you. It may be more difficult in the moment, but I want to make it easier for you. And I want your child to be developmentally on par. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. And again, I'll link in the show notes for the pee and poop solutions and our pee and poop withholding group. As always, I appreciate you listening. Rock on and have a beautiful day.